Hi, I'm Melinda Van Fleet, and welcome to the Confident Conversations podcast. I'm an author, speaker, and success coach who helps women believe in themselves, build confidence, and take action. This podcast shares authentic and transparent, thought-provoking stories, tips, and tools from my experiences, as well as incredible guests, so you can continue to build your confidence and live your best life. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's get started on this confidence journey. Real quick before we begin, I am super excited about the release of my first book, Confidence Mastery for Couples, a roadmap to a more intimate relationship, and the book releases March 9th. Stay tuned for more about it and other confidence-related books that I will be releasing every 3 months, and there will always be a link in my show notes. Now on to the podcast. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me this week. I am super excited. I am going to share with you some thoughts and read a little bit about my upcoming book, which is Confidence Mastery for Couples, Roadmap to a More Intimate Relationship. I know I mentioned it in the intro, so sorry for being repetitive. I guess it becomes a habit when you start to learn to market. It's one of those things that you realize you have to build some confidence around and get over yourself and realize that you need to talk about it a lot. You need to scream it from the highest hilltop. You need to be mentioning it all the time. And I learned that in the fall when I was part of Brilliant Breakthroughs for the Small Business Owner book series. I thought I had pretty much told everyone. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I talk about this book all the time and I'm posting about it and I mention it here and there. And then, wouldn't you know, like before the launch, I would have people going, oh, you're part of a book series? Oh, when does it come out? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so marketing 101. People talk about this. Like it takes how many impressions before people really have it sunk into their brain or make a purchase decision, however you want to look at it. It is one of those things. So I do apologize if I am a little repetitive and you're like, yeah, Melinda, I got it. But I also have to realize and build confidence around the fact that there are still so many people that don't or are new to listening to this podcast or new to following me on social media. Because I am finding that already. I am finding that some people going, oh, wow, you have a book coming out. When does it come out? What's it about? And some of these people even, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just an eye-opening experience. Some of these people are my friends. So then it's like really eye-opening, right? When you're just like, oh my God, like you're actually like one of my friends, not just a social media friend. And you don't know that it's coming out on March 9th, which is the anniversary of my brother's passing. So I know he's with me and I picked that date in, positive remembrance of him. So it is just kind of funny. So I thought today I would share that little nugget in regards to building confidence. Like you have to get over that fear of putting it out there too much because there are just people that haven't heard it yet, had bypassed that message, didn't see it on that social media post, forgot about it, got busy doing something else, and maybe half read the post and walked away. And that is so true. Like I personally, if I look at something on my phone, especially Facebook or LinkedIn, I tend to not do anything with that thought. I tend to just kind of keep rolling on because I make so many typos on my phone that I get nervous to do any responding using my phone. So I might just kind of breeze through if I'm at a stoplight or standing in line at the post office or grocery store, but I really don't remember much. And then I don't respond. So, keep that in mind too, that people are just busy, they're multitasking. They maybe pull up social media for a hot minute and then they move on with their day and they really need to see it again and see it again and see it again. So it's definitely an interesting learning experience and something since I haven't been on social media that long, I myself have had to push through a lot of fear around and really continue. And I'm still working on it. I'm far from perfect. I'm still working on it, building that confidence around those things. So in regards to the book, drum roll, There are 14 chapters. And there were originally 13 when it kind of all came out of my brain. And I was like, oh no, I can't have 13 chapters. That's really unlucky. So I kind of reworked some things so it would be 14. The book itself is not really long. And quite frankly, I'm really great with that because I'm not a super wordy person. So I wanted this book to be an authentic slice of me and also my husband Ryan and I's relationship. And some things are about him and some things are about me and my stories, and then some things are about us together. Because the main point of this book is that you have to do the work on yourself first. And one of the chapters is, are you trying to change me? Chapter 3. And that was a huge learning for me in my life in regards to doing the work on myself first before you really try to influence somebody else. You have to do the work on yourself first. And that is the hardest reality, I think, for a lot of people to face. That, you got to look at yourself first and see what's going on before you try to make someone else, do something for you, whether you're in a relationship or even support you. There might be some underlying issues there. Some other chapters in the book are about intentions, communication, reframing and triggers, energy, money. I have chapter 9 is called Who the F Cares? Chapter 10, Are You Both in It to Win It? Chapter 11, I Need Space, Setting Boundaries. Chapter 12, Do What Feels Good. 13, Teamwork, Support, and the Recipe. And chapter 14 is my final thought. So hence there's the chapter 14 in there, which ended up being a little story. So the book really consists of authentic stories, tools, tips. I do think I have somewhat sense of humor. So I hope that comes across in the book as well. Because, at the end of the day, these are all things that happen to, any of us. And they're all little things that when you break them down can become huge problems. But when you work on them and you chip away at them, it really makes your life easier, better, and your relationship better. Hence the title of the book. So when you master them, that's when things begin to flow and you can have a more intimate relationship with your spouse or partner. The chapter that I want to read from today is chapter 12, Do What Feels Good. And it's a little hard to break apart the chapters because all the stories kind of flow into one another, but I will do my best here. So here we go. There is a vast difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is the keyboard warrior. I would confidently say we have all been there at least once. You get so fired up and type an email or post and hit send, and then you say to yourself, oh shit, did I really do that? And then you have a mess to clean up. When I started as a sales rep, I worked with a manufacturer. The owner was a hothead, to say the least. 1 second, he was the nicest, kindest, big brother-like person in the world who you would give your right arm to. And then 5 seconds later, he would rip your head off. No joke. It was scary at times, and there were countless occasions where he brought me to tears. The shock value was enough to make my blood curl and give me nightmares. I remember when I first started the position, we were trying to get an order going with a large retailer. There were so many emails flying around, I was dizzy. He ended up firing off a heated email to me regarding the buyer. Oh, it was bad, really bad. The worst name calling and screaming over email I have ever seen, if you can imagine. He ended up sending the nasty email to the buyer too, by mistake. Can you say shit really loud? I was a new rep and it was an account I was going to be taking over. I saw the dollar signs float right past my head. I almost passed out cold on the floor from shock. He called me frantically about the email he had mistakenly sent to her, which was meant for me. The crazy thing is, he is so brilliant. He came up with a solution to bombard her with so many emails from both of us. The goal was to bury the nasty email as she would be deleting them and reading only the latest. I hope you're sitting for this. It worked. The buyer never said a word. It must have been deleted. The moral of the story is this: save yourself the panic and drama and don't react. Make a conscious choice to respond versus react. Process and walk away before you speak or send. Do you think I will ever forget this story? Likely not. So that's just a little snippet of how I weaved a lot of stories in and out of all the chapters. So because I'm not super wordy, they're just kind of short and sweet with a little lesson in them that ties back to the chapter. So the chapter, for example, is do what feels good. Well, typing and reacting like a keyboard warrior and reacting versus responding does not feel good to anyone. So there are many little stories like that weaved into the chapter so people can relate and go, oh, aha, yeah, I do this. And yes, it doesn't feel good and that doesn't help anyone. So I hope you like this podcast. I would love to hear from you. I am super excited about the book. I have a lot of work to do that will hopefully build confidence for me to release my next book, right? But take the action. That's what's most important. I'm taking the action. You need to take in the action and really believe in yourself. I find that, if you believe you can do it, you can do it. And if you're not taking the action, really think about it, like what's holding you back? Because underneath that, there's some core belief, and that's what you have to work on. So my private coaching is open. Please contact me if you're interested. We can chat. My email is melinda@melindavanfleet.com, and all the information is in the show notes. So till next time, I hope you're working on building that confidence. Thanks for listening.